Hi guys, I'm Kristen. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my April reading plans. This is a video that I've been doing. It's sort of like a loose TBR pile of possibilities that is very dependent on what I have access to in this upcoming month. So I've been enjoying it. I actually am using it to help inform my decision making when books become available, or when I finish a book and I'm trying to decide what happened or what I'm going to do next. Actually, I'm like referring back to these lists, and it is helping me at least like read more intentionally this year so far. So kudos to me for that. I'll start off with the category books that I'm continuing on with or carrying over from March. And I have 3 books that are like technically on the go right now. The first of which is The Grace of Kings. I have been listening to this since February, I think. And I didn't make much progress in March. I had other audiobook things that I was listening to. I got like really swept up in a couple books in March. So I did not make a lot of progress in this. And I'm kind of on the fence about whether or not continuing with the audiobook is the right format for me for this book. I realized I'm only 27% of the way in. So like a chunky enough way in that it would be silly to reread from the ebook. But I would want to start from scratch with the ebook because I think I'll struggle with like recognizing names. So I'm a little bit on the fence about starting now and over. It's not a huge priority, but technically I still have that on the go. I am also reading Strange the Dreamer. This one I'm actually 80% of the way through, but I think it's like the 29th of the month right now. It's possible that I'll finish it by the end of the month. It might not happen also. I'm not going to include it in my like what I've read so far in the year like wrap up to date. So I'm just going to say that it's like in April, whether or not I finish it actually like March 31st, 30 days, September, April, whether or not I finish it March 31st or not, I'm going to put it in the books for having finished it in April, because that's most likely where it's going to happen. And it's one of my priority reads for the year. It is a TBR vet. And I didn't mention before, Grace of Kings is also one of my priority reads for this year, and that is a new series start. Killing it with the priority series. The other book that I have on the go is, or priority books in general, is The Second Rebel by Lyndon A. Lewis, and this is the second book in the First Sister trilogy, and this was one of my priority series continuations. So I just started this. I'm actually reading the ebook because I have no other ebooks available to me at the moment. Everything is audiobook. And while I intended to listen to this one as an audiobook, the ebook was available, and so I decided to pick it up. So we'll start with that and see how we go with, what becomes available in other formats, and etc. So those are the 3 things that I have on the go that I'm carrying with me into this upcoming month, 2 of which I will definitely finish in April. Then I have like my what's coming up at the library. What have I already taken out from the library? What is imminently available at the library category? And for this, I think the only things that I have taken out from the library, I lied about the second Rebel being the only thing available to me on ebook, because I guess I have an ebook library book available too. But anyway, the only things that I have taken out from the library at this moment. So I'm Strange the Dreamer, which I'm already listening to. I have also taken out but not started with Blood Upon the Sand, and this is the second book in the, I'm actually not certain of the name of the series now, but it's the 12 Kings and Sherikai series, which was one of my priority series. Read it in March, loved it. And I'm not certain if I'm going to read it as an ebook or audiobook. The ebook was available, so I grabbed it in the moment. I haven't picked it up yet. But anyway, I have that one out from the library right now. I have also taken out from the library fbound as an audiobook. I did have to return the ebook that I was reading. This was, I think, a book that I had started at the very tail end of February. It was like a continuing on, but I hadn't gotten very far from March reading plans. And I just ended up picking up things that I was way more into in March. So I didn't end up finishing that. I had to return it to the library. I was kind of feeling like a little bit mediocre about it, but I was listening to the ebook. So I think what I'm going to do is I've taken out the audiobook instead, and I'm going to give it a shot in the audiobook format and see if it captures me more so than the ebook. I haven't even gotten to like the ooh, they discover the face still exists part of it, which is like the whole setup. I haven't got to that part, and I want to at least see if like that setting is really fun. So I'm going to try to use the audiobook to see if I can get to that section, see if it wins me over. And then a book that is going to be available really soon. I think I actually like just deferred it actually. So next in line sort of thing for Jade Legacy by Fonda Lee. And this is another priority book for the year for me. And this was a continuing series, and it's going to conclude the Greenboat saga for me. This will be an audiobook as well. So that is going to be coming up soon as a possibility. The other thing that I might read from the library was something that was like available right away, so I could, assuming that, you know, it doesn't suddenly become in hot demand at the library, I will most likely be able to just take out right away Pod by, oh shoot, auto-corrected the author's name on my notes. And this is a book that my local, like, in-person book club is reading for the month of April. I haven't been able to attend the last 2 months because I started back at work, but I found someone who might be able to cover my shifts, so I can occasionally go to book club. So if I'm able to pick up this book, I would really like to go to that one. And this is a book that's like written from the perspective of a dolphin who, for reasons, has to or decides to leave their like pod grouping, and it's like a journey of discovering things that are going wrong within the ocean, sort of. So it sounds a little bit like terrifying and traumatizing from that perspective. But I don't actually really like know anything about it. This is a book that they're doing for the month, so I'm very curious to check that out. So I could pick that up if the mood strikes me and I decide I really, really want to go to book club this month. And that is really all that is up at the library for the moment. Now, new releases in April also is actually going to be pretty good. But I don't always get to them in the month. I've actually been really struggling with my library. They don't seem to be acquiring all of the books that I would personally like them to acquire. And I have not figured out on Libby how to request that my library purchase something. On Overdrive, it was very easy. You would like search the book and it'd be like, oh, your library doesn't have it. Do you want to ask them to buy it? And you would do that. And it would work out great. And I cannot find on the Libby app where to specifically do this function, like when you request that the library purchases a specific book. So if you have that answer, hit me up in the comments down below. Help me out, because the library is not buying the new releases that I want this year. So my new releases, 2 contemporary romance books to start off with here, both of which are my priority books or some of my priority reads for this year. I'm just like smashing my priority reading list for 2024, by the way. Abby Jimenez, Just for the Summer, is coming out, one of my priority new releases for this year. So I'd really love to check that out. I have enjoyed some, but not all the things that I have read by Abby Jimenez. So like fingers crossed this one works out. And this is it's almost like Good Luck Chuck, where both the leads find that they date someone, and then after breaking up, that person like goes on to find their soulmate right after, and they realize it's happening to both of them, and so they decide to date for the summer so that they can break up and find their soulmates. So that's a fun concept. When I do the wrap up for that book, I will tell my Good Luck Chuck story. I don't have time in this setting. The other contemporary romance is, of course, Funny Story by Emily Henry. I would really like to get a hold of that and check it out. And this one is our exes, one of whom was like jilted at the altar, are together, and now we're gonna meet up or something like that. Like it's the 2 people whose partners left them for each other that are now the duo in this one. You know, there's going to be some drama, there's going to be some heartbreak, there's going to be some emotional journey, and I'm looking forward to it. Really hit or miss with Emily Henry. You have to connect with the other thing that she's bringing to the table in that character. You have to like connect with the characters quarter life, midlife, somewhere in between there, third of the way life crisis, in order to like really gel with the book, I find. Also coming out in April is The Book That Broke the World by Mark Lawrence. I'm probably not going to pick this one up right away in April, though, because I just recently read The Book That Wouldn't Burn, and you would think that would be a good thing to like immediately pick it up, but then what about the third book? I think it's going to be a trilogy. So either way, I'm probably going to go on hold at the library for it. I did really enjoy. I'm like spoiling all of my wrap up for the first quarter of the year by telling you all the sequels that I'm going to be reading. But I did really I'll wind up enjoying that, even though it took me forever to read that book. And hopefully my library gets an audio copy, because that was where I found success with the first book, was listening to the audiobook. I just flew through it as opposed to reading the ebook. I really struggled. Think library, think like fated intersecting lives in various timelines, labyrinth, star-crossed love. Yeah, really, really lots and lots of literary references, not just the fact that they're in a library, but like references to our own world and other literary things that exist. Yeah, really enjoyed that book. Then we have Relics and Ruin, but this is the sequel to Empire of Exiles. This is a sequel to Empire of Exiles that I read last year. Hugely underhyped, under talked about book that came out. Maybe it was from the year before. I don't remember. Underhyped. Totally unique fantasy with unique fantasy species and conspiracy and mental health and like a little bit of like a murder mystery. I did a whole vlog style review, which you can check out. Again, hopefully my library gets a copy. Fingers crossed, so that I can check that book out at some point soon. And then the final book that is going to be coming out in April, I believe, yes, the end of April, is A Letter to the Luminous Deep by Sylvie Cathrall. Is this? Yes, I think it's a debut. It also seems like it's going to be a fantasy romance, perhaps. Mystery, cozy mystery. Oh, right, this one. Dive into the curious correspondence of Sylvie Cathrall's delightful debut novel, A Letter to the Luminous Deep. A beautiful discovery outside the window of her underwater home prompts the reclusive E to begin a correspondence with renowned scholar Henry Clell. The letters they share are filled with passion, at first for their mutual interests, and then inevitably for each other. Love that setup already, but that's not it. Together they uncover a mystery from the unknown depths, but by no mere coincidence, a seaquake destroys E's home, and she and Henry vanish. A year later, E's sister, Sophie, and Henry's brother, Viren, are left to solve the mystery of their siblings' disappearances with the letters, sketches, and field notes left behind. Whimsical epistolary fantasy set in a mystical underwater world with mystery and heartwarming romance. That sounds really, really delightful. So yeah, looking forward to getting that, getting a copy of that. Again, fingers crossed that my library gets a hold of it. Or Everend, or, which leads me to my next category, KU. So, here's my thought process. You guys know, my budget for ebook or for books in general is like, I might buy myself a couple books this year. But I feel like so much FOMO for all of the self-pub books that are like so huge right now, especially in the fantasy romance world. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to do maybe like a couple months off Scribd, and in those months, or Scribd, Everend, sorry, and during those months instead, try out KU. So what I'm doing right now is, this is not my KU pile of possibilities, but I'm going to come up with a KU TBR so that I can, just for whatever the months that I get it, I'm just exclusively going to read from Kindle Unlimited, assuming that's possible and it doesn't cut you off or something. But I'm just like only going to read books from that so that I can like get through everything that I feel like I'm missing out on during those couple months, perhaps, that I'm purchasing Kindle Unlimited instead of Everend, while I like take a little break from Everend. That's my thought process. So what I did include in this one then is, what are those like Scribd / Everend books that I need to, like I need access to certain books from Everend that I'd really like to get to. So what do I like? I want to like clean up house a little bit on Everend before taking a break from it. So ones that I've already mentioned includes The Grace of Kings and Second Rebel. It's possible that I could get Second Rebel. I haven't, and Grace of Kings. It's possible I can get those from my library, but I'm not certain. I haven't actually checked. Illborn is one of my priority books from this year. I can only get it on Everend. I have started it, but I put it down as like a not for now. So I should maybe finish that up before taking a break. And the other thing that I would really like to finish on Everend before taking a break from it would be Age of War by Michael J. Sullivan. This is the third book, specifically the audio book, in the Legends of the First Empire series that I've been reading and absolutely loving. And I want to at least read that one. I feel like that's like a natural stopping point. Also, I feel like there's like a 3-book arc in the 6-book series. And then I noticed that Everend only has the like dramatized audiobook copies for books 4 through 6. And that is a pretty hard no for me. I have to anyway look for other sources for books 4 through 6. So it's like a perfect natural stopping point in the series for me to like find different copies of books 4 through 6. There are, of course, other books that I have saved on Everend and that I have, would like to get a hold of through Everend, but those are like the imminent ones that I have like are either priorities or like books that I really, really want to read. So I'm going to wrap up like some loose ends on Everend and then take a little time off of that. Check out what Kindle Unlimited has to offer. So I'm currently compiling my Kindle Unlimited TBR. Hit me up with your recommendations for that. If you only had 2 months to read Kindle Unlimited or something like that, which Kindle Unlimited books would you read? Anyway, so those are my like huge, broad pile of possibilities April reading plans, both with books that I definitely will get to and ones that I will probably get to and ones that I probably won't, but they're coming out in April and hey, that's fun too, so you should know about them. Let me know what you have going on for April. Do you anticipate it being a good reading month? March was killer for me in terms of like quality and enjoying what I read, but I also like read a very few amount. But I was like so immersed in those books when it was happening. You'll hear all about it in my every book that I read in the first quarter of the year book wrap up or book video wrap up that is coming up next. So I will see you guys then. Have a great day. Bye.